What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brogcast. So as you can see, I have returned to my video format, and the reason being is because I want to add a little more activity and to the podcast and make it less boring. And also, that's what a lot of the big podcasts are doing. They have a camera where you can see the person talk, and you can see the background. You can see stuff going on. It's not like with my other episodes where you're just staring at a still picture of my face, my logo, and then the episode name. I don't know. I think that probably gets boring for you viewers, so I'm doing this video format once again. So to start off, my headphone jack finally works on my computer. I was talking about the issues I was having last episode, and what worked for me was I uninstalled the driver for my headphone jack and then reinstalled it. And it worked. And then the other part of it, which made me feel like an idiot, was my headphones were not plugged in all the way on this part of it. The other side was plugged in just fine. And then when I did the last test, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to run through the basics again as everything plugged in okay. So yeah, I plugged in my headphones into my computer, the headphone jack, I plugged the headphone wire into the computer. Sorry, I'm having a fucking stroke. And then I did this to make sure this was plugged in all the way. And went click, it wasn't plugged in all the way. And I felt like an idiot. And then sure enough, the sound was working again. And I was like, hooray, but I feel like a dumbass. It could have been both. I mean, maybe at some point my headphones were plugged in all the way when I was testing it out and stuff. And then the driver was also a part of that issue. I don't know. But I... Got to stick to the basics, man. Got to make sure the basics are working because you never know. But yeah, I felt stupid after that. So, as you guys have already probably heard, there I go again with the stroke. As you guys have probably already heard, it made big news. Toby Keith passed away yesterday. And I'm not the biggest country music fan. I don't really listen to much country. I'm a rock, funk, hip-hop type guy. So I don't really listen to much country, and I'm not the biggest country music fan. But Toby Keith seemed like a really good guy, and really stood behind his beliefs. And also, he had some really good songs. I don't listen to all of Toby Keith's discography because, like I said, I'm not really big into country music. But I do have a top 5 of his songs. My favorite is "Beer for My Horses," which is what I covered in my last drum cover. Second is "Should Have Been a Cowboy." I like that one. The next one is "I Love This Bar." That's a funny one. The next one is, oh man, I'm running out of songs here. This is what I'm saying. I don't know very many Toby Keith songs. Ain't As Good As I Once Was. That's another good one. And then 5, what's that 5th one? There might just be 4. I don't know. I don't know that there's one more, and I can't think of it. Dang it. Okay, that's my top 4, I guess. So yeah, like I said, I don't listen to I haven't listened to his entire discography because I'm not into country, but those are my 4 favorite. And like I said, he seemed like a really good guy who stood by his beliefs, and it was a bummer to hear of his passing. He did announce a couple years ago that he had stomach cancer, so I knew that he had stomach cancer. And then just out of nowhere yesterday, I read on my phone that he passed away, so that was a bummer. All right, next is, so I have many viewers on this channel, especially lately. I've been getting a lot of subscribers and a lot more views, but I don't know most of them. But the one new viewer that I do know is my coworker. I showed him my channel recently. I gave him my channel link, and he loves it. And the best part is he's a drummer too, and he was in bands too, just like me. When I first met him, my other coworker was talking to me, and he was like, yeah, this guy is a drummer, and he used to be in an old band. And I was like, oh, awesome. So I went up to him, and I was like, hey, I heard you were in a band. That's awesome, man. Like, what instrument do you play? And he goes, drums. And I'm like, yeah. And we gave each other a fist bump. That was great. And the other day, he gave me his old band's CD. His old band is named Logos Eye, and the album that he gave me on CD is titled The Last Perfect Day. And I am a big fan of this album. I love it. I bumped the CD on the way home from work, and then today when I was running errands, I listened to it some more, and my favorite track on it is Lead Neck. It's track 11. It's awesome. When it first came on, I was driving along, and that first part of the song hit me. I was like, oh, this is tasty. And so I listened to it some more, and the whole song is epic. I love it. And to describe the genre, I'm not very articulate when it comes to describing genres. It's really hard for me to describe them. They all kind of run together for me a little bit in the thought process of it. But the best way I could describe this album and this band, it reminds me of like late 90s, early 2000s rock, the type of rock that was popular at the time. And people may take this as an insult, but it reminds me of Creed, and I love Creed, especially Human Clay. That's my favorite Creed album. I love Creed, and that song in particular reminds me a lot of Scott Stapp and Mark Tremonti in Creed. It is it's pretty epic. I love it. Shout out to my coworker. This is an amazing album. Thank you so much for that CD. So, next topic. In the last episode, I mentioned that I was getting ready to download Tekken 8, and I was super stoked for it. So, I did download it. It took about 8 hours overnight for it to finish downloading because the internet speed in this room is awful. So, I knew it was going to take a while, and it downloaded overnight, and then I got the chance to play it. And immediately I was like floored. This game is awesome. Immediately I was floored by the opening of the game. It is, I love the opening of the game. I love the vibe. And I also played a little bit of the arcade mode. I beat that. I also dabbled into the character stories. I've only done one so far. I did the Warring one because I'm a big Warring fan. Always have been since Tekken 3. And so I did that, and I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but that character story is very, very cool. There's a couple scenes in there that I really like, especially the ending one. The ending one is amazing. And overall, I love the game. I love it so much. I like it a lot better than Tekken 7. Tekken 7 was a great game, but I think what sets these two apart is Tekken 7 had a really dark theme to it. I don't really like dark themes when it comes to games. I like games that are more upbeat and get you fired up to play the game. Tekken 7 didn't really do that. Just like the menu, the music, the overall presentation of Tekken 7 didn't really get me hyped for the game. And that was one of the reasons why I really liked Tekken 3 and Tekken 4. Everything from the voice actors, the music, the visuals, they would all get me super hyped for the game. And Tekken 8 does that for me. It reminds me a lot of Tekken 4 when it comes to the voice acting, the presentation, the stages, that's another one, and also the graphics. I think Tekken 7 tried too hard to be realistic, and I think that took away from what Tekken means to me. I think it should be more arcade style. I don't think there should be much realism. I think that's what makes Tekken is it's very hyperbolic. Everything is super exaggerated, and it makes it fun. So yeah, Tekken 8 reminds me a lot of Tekken 4, and I love it. And that's another thing too, is the stages aren't as dark and depressing. There are a lot of really good stages that I've seen so far, and I love Tekken 8. I also dabbled into Tekken Ball. And I kind of forgot about Tekken Ball, and I'm so glad that they brought this back. It was in Tekken 3, and I forgot how hard Tekken Ball is. So for those of you who don't play Tekken or don't know what Tekken Ball is, basically it's a fighting game version of beach volleyball. And to beat the game, you have to kick the beach ball into your opponent to deal damage. It's not like fighting where you do moves on your opponent and you hit them directly. to deal damage. No, it's exclusively with this beach ball. So you have to kick, punch, whatever, throw, whatever in the beach ball into your opponent, and that's how you deal damage. Now, I think there are some rules to it that are reminiscent of beach volleyball, because I know when I kicked the beach ball behind my opponent, a whistle went off. So I think that there's a little bit of beach volleyball elements to it. Yeah, I love the fact that they brought back Tekken Ball. You can select from the beach ball, there's the iron ball, which I haven't tried yet, and then there's more unlockable unlockable balls that you can get for Tekken Ball. And yeah, I love this game so much. So the the only the only part of Tekken 8 that I don't like, at least so far, is the arcade quest. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I just kind of lost interest. I played a few minutes of it and I was like, this ain't for me. But the rest of the game is amazing. I mean, maybe I'll go into the arcade quest a little bit more and spend more time with it. Maybe I'll like it, but so far it's been kind of boring. I'm not a fan of it yet. All right, so coming up is the Super Bowl. We got the 49ers versus the Chiefs. And you guys are probably wondering, Jonathan, who are you going for? Now, I'm not a fan of either team. Or I shouldn't say that. I don't hate them. I'm just kind of indifferent to both teams. There goes Vic again with a massive sneeze. In one of my old episodes, he freaking sneezed and you could hear it in the podcast. That's epic, man. That's awesome. Anyway, back to the topic. So, I'm not a Chiefs fan or a 49ers fan. So, I'm not really going for a team particularly, but I will say that the Chiefs annoy the crap out of me. Between the whole Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce saga thing, and then Patrick Mahomes' brother, he's annoying. So I don't really like the Chiefs. So I'm going for the 49ers. I think they have some good skill in their playing. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the Chiefs. The Chiefs are awesome, but I think 49ers has a lot that they can bring to the table. You've got Brock Purdy, excellent quarterback. Then you have Christian McCaffrey, amazing running back, super fast too. This dude can run. And I don't really know much more about the 49ers, but I just know that they're a good team, and I think they'll bring the heat to the Chiefs. So yeah, going for the 49ers for the Super Bowl. I'm also stoked for the halftime show. Usher is going to be one of the main performers in the halftime performance, and I like Usher. I like Usher a lot. I'm pretty stoked for that. So, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. So next is something you guys, most of you, or almost all of you, probably haven't even seen, but it's something that piqued my interest. So, one of my favorite artists, Hassan Barclay, or it could be Barkley, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled like Barclay. So Hassan Barclay is a musician that I really, really like. He's done songs with one of my favorite rappers, Kari, which you guys most of you already know that I'm a big fan of Kari, but I'm also a big fan of Hassan Barclay, who's done songs with Kari. And there's this big Twitter beef going on. So Kid Cudi, who I've only listened to like 2 of his songs, The Pursuit of Happiness, and then there's another big one that I've listened to. I never really got into Kid Cudi, so I'm not really into him, but Hassan Barclay and Kid Cudi got kind of in a Twitter beef, I think it was yesterday and today. And what happened was Kid Cudi posted something super inspirational on Twitter, and I'm having a stroke again. To sort of start a fight on Twitter just for the heck of it, Hassan Barkley said that he could do one of his albums better than Kid Cudi. The album was Speed and Bullet to Heaven. He said that he could do that album better. And Kid Cudi was like, no, you can't. And there's just this big, like, storm on Twitter over this beef. And it's pretty crazy. When I first started out seeing this, I kind of took it personally a little bit because I really like Hassan Barkley. So I was like, okay, like, this dude's talking mad shit about Hassan Barkley. I don't like this. This isn't cool. And so I messaged Hassan Barkley. I was like, man, I'm so sorry that he's doing this to you, man. Like, that's just classless. And he was like, oh no, man, like, you don't have to apologize for him. Like, I just did this just as a shit post. I didn't do this, like, I didn't get into a beef with him, like, seriously. This was just a complete joke. And I was like, I took the bait because I kind of got a little bit mad over that when it was really just, like Hassan said, just a shit post, and it was nothing to be taken seriously. I went ahead and listened to to the album, the Kid Cudi album, Speeding Bullet to Heaven, and I wasn't a fan of it. I really don't like the vocals in it. So I kind of believe what Hassan Barkley was saying about it. I think he could do a better version of that album. It's not very good. I don't like talking smack about other artists just because it's not a classy move. But I'll be honest, I wasn't a fan of the album. All right, y'all. That's it for this episode of the Brogcast. I know it's kind of short, but I've kind of run out of things to talk about. Maybe in the next episode I'll have more things to talk about. But that about does it for this episode. All right, y'all. Peace.